I'm here at my demonstration area, and this demonstration area I have used for my border course, and that I will talk about a little bit later on. But first of all, I want to show you and demonstrate a narrow border. This is what I like to call the coffin border, and we're going to show you how to make it and how to be successful with narrow border planting. Hello, I'm Rosie Hardy. This is Rosie Hardy Gardening. If you enjoy our videos, please do subscribe to the channel. So with this narrow border, it's not much more than say 18 inches deep, therefore around about 45 centimetres. So please use your imagination. This is the edge, probably going down onto a pathway. This could be a fence, it could be the side of a wall, it could be the side of the house. A lot of people have these strange little borders that are put in and you just don't know what to do with them, how to get them going. And there are plenty of plants that you can utilise and use, and a lot of them tend to be alpines, even alpines for shade if it's a shady area, or for sun if it's a sunnier area. So I'm just going to show you how you can make it look good and how to utilise plant material and have a successful border. Let's get started. So what are you going to use? You're going to use things which are going to grow and make much larger plant material, and you don't have to use them in big clumps. So the border is about 45 centimetres, 18 inches deep. It's around about 2 metres long. So it's not a big border. It will take 2 3-litre pots side by side. Now with these borders you want to make sure that you've put in good compost and all of that. But this little plant here is Petrorhagia. Petrorhagia is a great plant. It's related to Gypsophila, has tiny little starry pink flowers on it, and it flowers all summer long, but it likes dry conditions, so it's really good for this sort of border. I would personally sort of dot them around. I might have some at the front and some at the back, because you're going to be able to view this down the side. So we'll be looking at something along the lines like this. So you've got 3 of these going in, making a lovely mound, and that will look fantastic. Now things that I've used and I use regularly are things like the Saxifragas, because they have this wonderful foliage at the bottom which is going to be evergreen, so you will get some interest in this border. Now it flowers quite tall, so you could put it at the front or you could put it at the back. I'm going to use a bit at the back, so you've got a nice bit of evergreen there, and then we'll use a little bit at the front here to give us a little bit of evergreen on the front here, remembering the Petrorhagia is going to grow and be quite large. Then we've got an alpine here. This is Silene white robin. It has these beautiful white flowers and this lovely dark back to it here, which are the sort of bladders on there, and once the flowers are finished you get left with the bladders, so it looks really interesting. The foliage will stay as a lovely evergreen, evergrey type of this, that glaucous colour. So this can go down here at the front and fill up that area there. Now things which are very useful are Erigeron karvinskianus. This is the Spanish daisy. This will just make lovely mounds, so we can put that in the bottom down there. Against that it will look really good. Perhaps another bit down here at the front, maybe put some more in. We've just got lots of other bits and pieces that will do, but the Erigeron will sell seed, so that's useful. The Petrorhagia might sell seed, and certainly the Silene will. If you want to get a little bit of height in there, then this fabulous Euphorbia is really good, and that is Euphorbia seguieriana. Now Euphorbia seguieriana has lovely grey foliage to start off with, then it makes a mound. It's not going to spread sideways, so a lot of these plants that I'm using stay quite tight but spread out with their arms, and that's the key thing with doing a border like this, where there's not a lot of room. You want plants that stay tight in around but actually spread out and give you some really decent size. So we've got a little bit of up and down going on here. That's really good. We need to, let's intersperse a little bit of colour. So let's think about putting something like a scabious. So let's put that little scabious blue butterfly in there, and that will work. So these are all working. Now we need to fill up that bottom end. I've got a fabulous phlox. Phlox divaricata Chattahoochee prefers drier ground, so this is an ideal candidate for this area, and it will go in somewhere like this and you'll get fabulous flowers early on, and then you'll get the foliage tight and looking good and keeping going. To interject a little bit more height, I'd love to use Eryngiums. This one is Eryngium Big Blue, and so it is going to get a little bit taller than perhaps other things. So I'd like to just put this at the back. I wouldn't put it at the front, because if you put it at the front and you're walking past it, it is painful. So just be aware you're going to use something like this. When you put it into a drier situation, it won't get as big as it will in the border, but it will be really happy in this style. So we can put it there, and it gives a different shape and feel to the border there, and you will get good foliage on it also. I'm just looking around at what I've got. Some of these things I've got 3s of, but I'm going to put them in as one clump so you can see the size. This is Pseudodictamnus acetabulosa, what used to be known as bolota. This is a really wonderful foliage plant. It's upright, it's going to flower with soft lilac pink flowers. So I would bring that down and put it, I'm just trying to think where I would put it. I would put it into this area here. Then you've got that coloration of the greys going together, and against the yellow, it looks really quite fun. Now you can use half hardies in this sort of situation, which means that you are going to get really wonderful lot of flower right the way through. So something like this, Salvia, Love and Wishes, would go really well down here. And the reason I'm putting it down here next to the phlox is that when the phlox dies back, you're going to need something to take over that phlox's space, and the salvia is going to come up here. So that is really quite a good combination all through there, giving you wonderful shape and height. So with the narrow borders, quite often they don't have an awful lot of soil in there, so you've got shallow soils. If you are able to get the soil heights a little bit higher, then that works really well also. Now with this one, I've assumed it to be quite sunny. You can help your plants by getting them established, giving them a water. You can also help by giving them a mulch in the autumn, and that will help quite a lot with these. Now you've got this one here to interject a little bit of height at the front of the border there. The Petrorhagia that I've got at the back there, I think I'm not going to have that there now, but I'm going to have this, which is a Dianthus. This is Deptford Pink, so this is going to self-seed, so it's quite good to have self-seeders in the mix, because you will then get other bits popping up right the way through. So that is a lovely pink form there, and I think what we'll do with the Petrorhagia is we'll just put it in there, so that will give you a good amount. The last little bit I've got is at the back there, so we could put in something, let's have a change of foliage colour. So we've got this wonderful Hylotelephium. This is Hylotelephium Karfunkelstein, and the Hylotelephiums will work really well in this sort of border, because this has been bred to not get too huge, and you can see there we've got a lovely change of colour with what's going on there. And what I might do is add in another one so that you've got that purple foliage looking really good throughout here, and I'll put another one in the back there. Just to, you don't have to have 3s of things with a border like this. You know, the odd spots of, this is where the odd spot of 1 or 2 things really works. So now you can see that you've got quite a good colour form going through here. If you didn't want to have, say, the phlox, you could put something in like the Alchemilla. So if we just take the phlox out, because maybe you've got a slightly different situation, but the other beauty of having that Alchemilla in there is that you pick up the yellow of the Euphorbia. So you can change it, mix and match. The Alchemilla erythropoda is a small Alchemilla, so it stays in a nice, neat, tidy clump. It's much shorter with its flower as well. And again, it'll self-seed, but it's not like Alchemilla mollis. It doesn't take over the world. So what you've got here in the end is you've got plants which are going to stay as good, tight, round clumps. You're going to get a lot of winter interest here because there's some evergreen as well. And you've got plants which are going to give you interest for a long period of time in this harsh environment of what I like to call and name the coffin borders. As I mentioned at the beginning, before I built you this wonderful little narrow border to give you ideas, I mentioned that I have produced a border course. Now the border course is there to help people to understand how to create borders, what you need to list before you start creating either a new border, editing an old border, putting a new part to an old border because you've got fed up of an area, you've taken a piece out, you've got a piece of land and areas which are blank, a good blank canvas to start again. And so the border course is there to help you with all the basics that you need to know, how to sort out your soil, what to do with it, what to think about in the way of direction of light, whether your pH is correct for the plants that you are growing. So the border course follows everything through in a logical step-by-step process. If you're interested, there is a QR code on the screen or a link below. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to watch another video of mine, YouTube thinks this one is perfect for you.